Welcome to Iron Horse Trains today. What I'm going to show you today is some of the techniques that I use and a lot of other fellows use to cut the track and the type of tracks we use. One of the things that a lot of fellows ask about is code 100 versus code 83. Well, most of the cars and most of your prototypes being made now, the flanges are on the cars and everything else a little longer, a little heavier. So that's on your trucks. Code 83, if you model with code 83, you're going to end up changing a lot of your wheel struts, okay? Because the flanges are too long. And what happens with the flanges, they run right alongside the inside here, and they bounce along the railroad ties, okay? That would be the nails in here. And that gives you that rough look, and sometimes it causes a lot of derailment. So that's one of the reasons why we actually go with code 100. It makes it a lot simpler, and we don't have to start messing with our cars and changing our cars. Now, another thing that people have asked about is what do we do with our track? They use a back saw, and the reason why they use a back saw, they're kind of used to putting their square on it, and they use a back saw, and they cut their track straight across. And a lot of times, what they do is why they use a back saw. If you have a good long length of track, what they want to do is they want to make sure that they split their ties and they make a good connection. So actually what they do is they make their cut straight across the track like this. And that cuts their track to the point where they want to make the connection of their switch leg. Now when they go on further, all right, there's a new way to do it. Now they have little nippers, which you can actually take the nippers, make sure you have the flat side to the track. And okay, I'll show you a bed. See how this was cut off on the end? You want to clean off some of your rail ties off the back. You want to clean that out of the way so that you can actually take it off and you pull it out of your way. And this way, you can see how bad a cut that is. You notice how crooked that is? So if you take the nippers, these new nippers now work just as fine as the back saw. You make a mark and you cut straight down. And there, see how clean that cut is? It's a nice clean cut. And it makes it a lot easier. It's a lot quicker. But some of us still like to use the back saw because we can line in there. And you're going to get rough track and as you're going along. You can use pieces as fillers and all that. So this actually helps you make a clean cut. Now, we want to get on to other things. People are talking to me about the delayed and non-delayed switches. Delayed switches, you can use sidings in your yards. They're very good because you don't have to worry about the movement, and the switches are moving a lot slower. The switch enders move a lot slower. But a snap switch works really good on your main lines because it makes a tight, quick connection, and you don't have to worry about the switch not making the contact or the transition before the train makes the connection. Snap switches are good if you're running a main line and you're running a main line at a certain speed, because if you've got it wired to the track where it actually makes the connection between, you have a connection in the wire to the switch, okay, with your switch machines, that actually makes contact back here. And by the time the train travels from here to this point, the snap switch is closed. With a delayed switch, you're going to have to make your connections at least 24 to 30 inches further, because that delayed switch makes a very slow transition. If the train is moving at track speed, which is scale speed, if it's moving at 35 or 40 miles an hour, that switch may not be closed by the time the train gets there. It depends on the capacitors and what type of snap switch you have, okay? But I prefer the snap switch before the delayed action on your main lines. That's the simplest thing I can tell you, because I've never had any trouble with the snap switches. Delayed switches I've had, where you actually get the front trucks or on your steam engines or something like, being derailed because the switch has not totally made the connection. Snap switches are more positive. And that's where we are today. But this is Iron Horse Trains. We're with you another day, and we're building ourselves up. And as you notice, we have now started to make transition, and we're starting to go elevation. We make our elevation on our tracks, okay, about a ½ inch at a time. That